Something the NBA had never seen before happened between November and December 2025. Nikola Jokic stopped being human and went insane against some of the league's best, including KD, Kawhi, Harden, Edwards, and Rudy Gobert.
Nikola Jokic against Rudy Gobert. Puts it on the deck, into the lane. Hook shot, good for the big man.
Bodying in, spinning away, and dropping it home.
Jokic will fire from deep and swish.
Jokic backing down the smaller player. Jokic around the corner and he drops it.
Jokic gets it back. Reverse. Come underneath. Put it up.
Scoring 30 points a night, leading his team in rebounds, orchestrating the entire offense, and doing it with an efficiency level that almost felt impossible. And he kept going, back to back to back, until eventually he produced one of the greatest Christmas Day performances the NBA had ever seen. But just when the basketball world began wondering whether they were witnessing his greatest season yet, he suffered an injury against Miami. Now, all of this has us wondering what could have been if Jokic stayed healthy. Well, let's take a closer look at what he did in that run. After Nikola Jokic's first game of 2025-26, many people thought he was going to have a terrible year, that he had peaked and was now in decline. His stats in the first game were 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. That is what they called a stinker on Reddit. Obviously, it could only be called a stinker because of the high standards the Joker was known for, but all of that was about to change in November. You see, across 14 games that month, Jokic averaged 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists per game, while shooting over 63% from the field. Those numbers alone would have sounded fabricated a decade earlier because 30-point scorers usually don't create shots for their teammates. Elite playmakers don't typically dominate the glass, and centers certainly aren't expected to do all three at once. But then came November 12th against the Clippers, and Jokic erupted for 55 points and 12 rebounds, tying the highest scoring game in the league that season. With that game, Jokic reminded everyone that if he decided to prioritize scoring, most defenses simply didn't have enough answers.
Now Jokic straight away. Bang! Nikola on the far side. Jokic on the run. Here he comes. Floats it up and it's deflected by Jokic. Jokic gets it back. Lay it up and in. Jokic backing down the smaller player. Jokic around the corner and he drops another one.
By that point, the NBA world had realized that they made a mistake thinking he was declining.
This brother, Jokic, I mean, just a big tub of lard, just shoving people around, no six-pack, ain't stealth built or anything like that. He's just big and strong, waddle. He don't even walk, he waddles and stuff. You just look at him. And you can't stop him.
5 days later against Chicago, he followed up with a 36-point, 18-rebound, and 13-assist masterpiece.
Jokic gets it back. Reverse. Come underneath. Put it up and in.
Jokic back it in.
Jokic falling away. A sophomore shuffle. Watson gets it on the back.
And before the month was even over, Houston experienced the same problem. Jokic finished with 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists, narrowly missing another triple-double while controlling every possession Denver needed.
Stoppage because of a shot clock issue. They rectified it. Jokic. Oh, yeah. By Şengün, isolation. Head and shoulder fake.
Jokic takes it in.
Now, what's so insane is that November turned out to be only a warm-up for the Joker. Most players who catch fire eventually cool off, but through the first 13 games of December, Jokic somehow managed almost the exact same production, averaging more than 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists per night. At that point, it wasn't just a great month anymore. It was becoming a season unlike anything modern basketball had seen. And then Christmas arrived. Now, we all know that Christmas Day hoops are usually reserved for the league's biggest stars and biggest moments. It has been that way for decades, from Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant to LeBron James and so on. But in 2025, it was Nikola Jokic's turn, and for that, he went insane against Minnesota.
Now trying to cover the Joker who gets by him, and the second effort by Jokic. Tip of the circle. Great bounce pass to Hardaway. What a dime by the Joker. Denver Nuggets attacking this Minnesota defense. They'll shoot over the top of the Joker. Nikola Jokic against Rudy Gobert. Puts it on the deck, into the lane. Hook shot, good. The floor. Here's the Joker against Gobert. Cross to the left, hits the 16-footer.
In that game, Nikola Jokic delivered one of the greatest statistical performances ever recorded. He finished with 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists, while shooting over 71% from the field and knocking down 22 of his first 23 free throws. No player in NBA history had ever produced a game with at least 55 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists. Not Jordan or Kobe, or LeBron, or even Wilt. Nobody. It was efficiency that no one could argue against. Coach Adelman was standing on business when he said it.
He's the most efficient basketball player I've ever seen. And I know there's guys from way back in the past I didn't get to see play. But for me, in this modern generation of basketball, please show me who else is out there that plays like this at this efficient level offensively.
And by the end of December, the world of basketball was scared of how far Nikola Jokic could take his efficiency. I mean, this guy wasn't flirting with a triple-double average anymore. He was now comfortably living there. People had spent years debating whether Jokic deserved a fourth MVP. Now, the conversation was starting to change. The real question was now, are we watching one of the greatest individual seasons basketball has ever seen? Well, unfortunately, we'll never know, because on December 29th, 2025, playing against Miami, Jokic suffered a left knee hyperextension. This injury immediately brought one of the most insane NBA stretches to an end. At the time, he had already played 32 games and was firmly positioned as the favorite to win another MVP award. And considering where his numbers already stood, it isn't difficult to imagine where the season might have gone. If Jokic had simply maintained the pace he established during November and early December, he likely would have finished somewhere around 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists per game for an entire season. That alone would have been historic. Because no center in modern NBA history has ever maintained that combination of scoring volume, rebounding dominance, and playmaking responsibility across a full year. But it doesn't even end there. Jokic finished the season with 34 triple-doubles despite missing significant time. But there's no reason to think a healthy campaign wouldn't have pushed him closer to Russell Westbrook's single-season record of 42. And that alone could have solidified his MVP case. After all, before getting hurt, the Joker was widely viewed as either the clear frontrunner or at worst a co-MVP for the season. And as we all know, a fourth MVP would have placed him in some incredibly exclusive company. But it was never meant to be, and even the Denver Nuggets season was affected by it. Yes, they managed to stay competitive without him, but their offense suddenly looked far more ordinary, which only emphasized how much of their identity revolved around one player. Although, it's worth noting that the Nuggets looked better without Jokic in 2025 than the previous season. Still, the fact remains that despite how insane Nikola Jokic has been since 2020, what he did in that 1 month showed the NBA that he is not human. And just to give a little context here, let's compare the numbers with NBA history. First off, this comparison is not to shade anyone. It's just to recognize the greatness that the Joker displayed within that month. Like, when someone averages 35 points per game, we immediately think about Michael Jordan. Or when someone dominates with athleticism and controls every aspect of the game, we think of LeBron James. And when someone warps defenses 30 feet from the basket, we think of Stephen Curry. But somehow, Nikola Jokic seemed to have borrowed pieces from all of them during that run. He scored like an elite perimeter superstar, controlled games like an all-time playmaker, he rebounded like a traditional center, and he did it while shooting over 63% from the field. Even Oscar Robertson and Westbrook, the two players most associated with triple-double seasons, never combined this level of efficiency with this amount of scoring. It was so ridiculous that NBA legend Steve Nash just needed to get it off his chest during his podcast.
Can I just take a moment to talk about Nikola Jokic making a joke out of the NBA every night?
Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I was literally just talking to my good friend Jared Dudley right before we jumped on here. I was just like, this guy is ridiculous. He was like, yeah, he's ridiculous.
You know, we've seen James Harden score more, and Luka Doncic has delivered some outrageous triple-double runs of his own. But nobody has ever blended 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists as a center while barely wasting possessions. That's what made November and December of 2025 feel different. And maybe Steve Nash said it best. Nikola Jokic wasn't just dominating the NBA. He was making a joke out of it. And maybe the strangest part about Nikola Jokic's 2025 season isn't that an injury derailed it, or the fact that Denver played poorly during the playoffs. We've seen those happen before in the NBA. But what we've never seen is a 30-day period when basketball stopped looking like a game built around positions, athleticism, or hustle. And it started looking like Nikola Jokic was not human. But unfortunately, we'll never know how far he could have taken it. However, we'd like to hear your thoughts on how different the 2025-26 season could have turned out for Jokic and the Nuggets if the injury never happened. But if you want to see more Jokic videos, click on any of them showing on your screen next.